Well, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Um, I'll go ahead and turn everything over to Karen. She is going to give a little information from Ving. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, wonderful.
Awesome. Well, it's great to meet everybody today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. My name is Karen Gerberry, and I am the Ving Success Manager at Ving. Screen up. So I'm going to talk to you about Ving. Ving is a safety and compliance platform. We offer over 1,000 microburst training platforms or topics into 11 industries. And really, the best way that I can think to really kick it off to tell you more about Ving is actually to play this video right here on our homepage.
Your employees need accurate information to deliver quality work efficiently and without injury. How good are you at sharing the right information at the right time with them? Rank yourself 1 terrible, 10 awesome. Now ask, did they get, read, watch, listen, and understand? Don't like your numbers? Introducing Ving, a learning experience platform that's perfect for modern-day microburst information sharing, short videos, minimal text, and relevant material. We'll help get your organization to a 10. Contact us today.
Awesome. So that tells you a little bit more about Ving in itself and our microburst platform that helps to train and keep your company in compliance. And even if you're not a user of ours, coming to the website has a variety of really beneficial material. You'll find some stuff that we have published about pandemic planning, a lot of harassment prevention as well. You'll see the top use cases from our users and how they're using Ving to really improve things at their organization. And then as you scroll down the page, you're going to find a lot of information about our products specifically. So you're going to learn things about microburst platforms, how that's really benefiting training, how you're going to save time and reduce rework, as well as one of our most popular things is being able to share everything at the right place in the right time, getting people the information they need exactly when they need it. Scrolling down a little bit further, you'll get down here to our recommended readings and as well an area to subscribe to our blog. So taking a look at our blog, we provide a lot of safety expert interviews, best practices, upcoming trends, things like that. It's a spot that you're definitely wanting to go to and subscribe, so that way you can be updated with those updates. As well, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back to Jerome, but in the chat, I'm going to put our contact information and a Thanksgiving blog that we think you're going to want to share to your team.
Thank you, Karen. I'm going to introduce to you all Todd Jensen. He is a compliance specialist with OSHA, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to him and let him tell you all a little bit about what he does and what he's speaking on today.
Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen here real quick. I think we can do this. And somehow I got to figure out how to make it full screen, but my name is Todd Jensen. I work with OSHA, and I'm responsible for all the public outreach in Northern Ohio. I've been with OSHA 21 years. I used to do compliance inspections in steel mills, foundries, chemical plants, refineries, specializing in process safety management. Did a number of accidents, fatality investigations in 21 years. The outreach job I took about a year ago. And the Safety Council's asked me to come in today to talk about an OSHA update about what's happening with OSHA, as well as COVID-19 in the workplace and the different OSHA regulations that apply to employers during this time of COVID. And so I got a presentation here. I'll go through the chat questions at the end and answer any questions that you got. And I'll give my contact information too, in case anyone has any questions. You can either call or email me with any questions that you may have. So let's see if I can I don't know how to make this full screen, but we'll have to go with what we got here. Let's see, OSHA update. So in Ohio, you're in Region 5, OSHA's Region 5. Region 5 is Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. And Michigan, Minnesota, and Indiana have their own state-run OSHA plans, while Wisconsin, Illinois, and Ohio are run by the federal government. So Region 5 is what covers the state of Ohio. With OSHA, we have, and I'm going to get into these in a little bit of detail, but in OSHA, we have what we call unprogrammed activities and programmed activities. Unprogrammed activities are the things that just kind of pop up that we have to run out on. Those are the imminent dangers, fatalities, hospitalizations, complaints, and so forth. These unprogrammed activities are things we don't plan for. On the other side of unprogrammed activity, we have programmed activities. Programmed activities are things like emphasis programs, site-specific targeting. And right now, OSHA is not doing a lot of programmed inspections. We're doing a lot of unprogrammed stuff, things that pop up, specifically inspections regarding COVID in the workplace, accidents, fatalities, and serious complaints that get called into us. These programmed activities here, these emphasis programs, this is where a company gets put on a list based on their NAICS code, because OSHA has determined that certain industries have a lot of these dangerous hazards that we're trying to protect against. And so program activity is planned in advance. We know we're going to go out to a facility and so forth. It's not something that just pops up. So we have a number of emphasis programs in OSHA, and some of the folks on this call may fall under a number of these emphasis programs. Some may not fall under any of these emphasis programs, but the national emphasis programs are based on accident injury data. We have an emphasis program on amputation hazards. So if you have equipment in your facility that can cause amputations, you're probably on a list for an inspection. But like I said, we're not doing too many of these types of inspections right now. We're responding to complaints, referrals, accidents, and so forth. But we have an NEP on amputations, combustible dust, excavations, and trenching. We do inspect federal agencies such as the FAA, military bases, national parks, federal prisons, and so forth. So anything that's federal agency related, we do inspections there as well. We have an emphasis program for hexavalent chrome, lead, silica, ship breaking, and process safety management. If you're a chemical plant, or you have ammonia refrigeration, or your refinery, you'll fall under our process safety management standard. And if you have any type of ammonia refrigeration or your chemical plant or refinery, you're on a list for a program inspection. But these national emphasis programs are developed because there's a need, because there's a lot of injuries out there that are happening in these industries, and we decided that we need to take a closer look at these places to make sure everyone's working safely. On the flip side of national emphasis programs, we have what we call local emphasis programs. And these are programs we develop locally because during the course of our inspection, we've identified industries that routinely have a lot of hazards, whether they be machine guarding hazards, lockout hazards, combustible dust. We have emphasis programs locally right now for fall hazards, grain handling facilities, powered industrial vehicles, and building rehab. So if there's a building in a downtown area with plastic over the windows, or they're gutting it or rehabbing it, we do inspections on those rehab jobs for lead, asbestos, silica, and everything else. So those are our local emphasis programs. Just to remind everyone quickly that if you have anybody that has an amputation or is hospitalized, or they lose an eye, you need to report those to OSHA within 24 hours. And if there's a work-related fatality, you got to report those to us within 8 hours. Any heart attack has to be reported to us as well. If someone has a heart attack in the workplace, heart attacks are required to be reported to OSHA. And some people may ask, why do I need to report a heart attack? Because once in a while, what we believe is a heart attack may be something else. Maybe it's a carbon monoxide exposure. Maybe it's an electrocution. Something caused that person to die that's not readily observable. And so people jump to the conclusion, oh, they had a heart attack. There's been a couple instances in Toledo where we've received heart attack notifications from employers, and a day later, we get a call from the coroner stating, "Oh, hold off on a second. This person has burn injuries on their fingers. We believe he was electrocuted." Or maybe he suffered an electric shock and defibrillated his heart. We've had a number of those, in which case those heart attacks turned into fatality investigations, and we go out and take a look at those. So heart attacks have to be reported, and we look at heart attacks pretty closely, because sometimes it wasn't a heart attack that killed the person at work. Just remind you that within 8 hours, you have to report any fatality to us, 24 hours for a hospitalization or amputation. You can call OSHA at this number, or call your local OSHA office to report any type of hospitalization or amputation or fatality. And just remind everyone too that we do have on-site consultation and BWC available in the state of Ohio for small employers to take advantage of. On-site consultation and BWC, there's no cost to have them come into your facility. They can come in and do safety audits for you, employee training. They can help to set up and develop and implement your safety programs, air monitoring, noise monitoring. They do all these things for you free of charge. I always tell companies, it's always, and companies always ask me, they say, well, who should I call, BWC or OSHA on-site consultation or a third-party consultant? And I say, call them all. It never hurts to have as many eyes as possible walking through your facility looking for safety issues. And to be honest with you, your inspector, whatever auditor you get from BWC or on-site or a third party, that inspector will have a certain skill set, and they may not know it all. Okay. And so it's always good to get as many eyes to your facility as you can. You may get an inspector one time that's really good at electrical safety, but not too good at HAZCOM or bloodborne pathogens. And you know, it's all over the board. So you get as many people through your facility as you can, get as many eyes on your problems as you can, to get a nice holistic view of where you stand as far as health and safety goes. Give on-site a call, give BWC a call, get them into your facility and help you find your deficiencies and get those fixed. Or you can call OSHA. We got people on the phones all day long that answer questions from the general public. And just because you call us with a question, that doesn't mean we're going to come out and do an inspection. Because to tell you the truth, we don't have the resources to come out and do an inspection because someone calls us with a question. And we don't want to. We want people to feel comfortable calling us. So call your local OSHA office, email me, call me if you have any compliance related questions, and I'll be able to get the answers for you. If I don't have the answers, I'll go to Chicago to get the answers if I need to, but I will get the answers for you. I always tell people, don't operate out there like an island, just guessing at this stuff. If you call me with a question, you can write my name down, the date that I told you and what I told you, and I'll stand by it. OSHA has a number of cooperative programs, we call them. We have alliances, partnerships, VPP. We have the OSHA Challenge. Most of you are probably familiar with the on-site consultation SHARP program. We run into a lot of companies that are in the SHARP program, and we love to see that. But there's other programs out there you can become part of. It allows you to form a more closer relationship with OSHA, building trust, information sharing. We have a number of partnerships in the state of Ohio and alliances as well. And we love to see that. We love to see companies reach out to us and try to participate in one of these avenues. We do have a lot of Spanish speaking publications on our website, almost 800 of them. If you do have Hispanic workers in the workplace or Spanish speaking workers in your workplace, take advantage of our online resources to help these folks. We have publications written in Russian, Polish. There's a number of different languages online that you can find to help educate your non-English speaking employees. OSHA QuickTake is another thing. You can download the OSHA QuickTake app on your phone or mobile device, and it keeps you up to date on all the newest things coming out from OSHA, whether that be information on our regulations, significant cases that were issued, regulations coming down the pipe, anything like that. It gives you clear, up-to-date information on whatever's happening with OSHA. Okay, real quick, COVID-19. So COVID's obviously affecting all of us right now. I'm on the regional task force for Corona, which means that I review a lot of the case files in Region 5 where OSHA is proposing citations for respirators and other matters related to COVID. We've had 124 work-related COVID fatalities in Region 5 since last January. And a lot of these have been in the healthcare industry. There has been some of them in the warehousing industry and service industries, but a lot of it's been healthcare, hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living, and so forth, where you have people in close contact with one another doing various tasks. But COVID-19 is a big deal. There is a lot of there's information overload out there right now on COVID-19 from the CDC, OSHA, NIOSH, every government agency under the sun's putting out COVID-19 guidance. And the most important thing that I can cover with you is this one memo that OSHA put out. It came out, and if you Google search this, it's online. It came out May 19th, 2020. And this memo is from Washington and DC, and it's telling the public how to determine if work-relatedness of COVID. If an employee comes down with COVID in your workplace, how do you determine if that's work-related or if they got that at home or out in the community? And this memo is not 100%. There's no guidance document OSHA is going to be able to put out there that tells definitively whether someone got COVID in the workplace or out in the community. But what this memo does is it spells out the different things that you need to consider in determining work-relatedness. Things like, were there any other employees that tested positive at work? What's the employer doing for social distancing and sanitizing and keeping the workplace safe? Are face coverings required? What are the work activities that employee is doing at work that may put them in close proximity to someone that has COVID? And it's all spelled out in this memo. And this is right here on the screen is the body of the memo. There's a few bullet points there that talks about things to consider. Does the person have family members at home that have tested positive for COVID? Do they attend biker rallies on the weekend? Are they staying home on the weekends or going out and going to sit in restaurants? Things like that. And all these questions need to be answered in order for the employer to make a good, sound judgment on whether or not a case is work-related or not. There's some employers out there that we run into in the last couple months have said to us that if any of their employees get COVID, it's automatically considered not to be work-related because COVID is so prevalent in the community. They're not even considering the fact that they could have gotten the COVID at work, which is wrong. That's a wrong way to look at it. You need to do a thorough objective review on whether this person got COVID or not at the workplace or at home using these guidelines in this memo from May. Because when OSHA comes in and we start asking questions to the employer about, well, how would you determine work relatedness of this person's COVID status? And you better be able to say, we looked at what they were doing at work. We looked at all the measures that we have in place to protect our employees. We did a good objective review of what was going on, and we made a decision. And the decision was this or that, whatever it may be. As long as there's some thought process behind how they determined it was work-related or not work-related. What we don't want to do is walk into a facility and they say it wasn't work-related, they got this at home, and because it's in the community, so it's automatically considered not to be work-related. We don't buy that. We want to know what the thought process is behind making that determination. And this memo helps you do that. Like I said, these guidelines aren't 100%, but at least it'll let you make an educated decision on whether or not it is work-related or not. Okay, so you can Google search this memo. It's online, it's available to the public. It's an interpretation that we put out last May on how to determine work-relatedness of COVID. Now with COVID, everyone's overwhelmed with information. Face covering, surgical masks, N95s, all these things are kind of confusing to people that don't deal with this stuff every single day. So when you say an N95, that means that it's a paper dust mask with two straps that go around the head, and it's certified by NIOSH to provide 95% efficiency to particulates. An N95 has been tested, it's been evaluated, it's been determined, it's been stamped with an approval that says these are N95s. That's what most healthcare workers are wearing out there in hospitals, nursing homes, and so forth, are these N95s. And these are the most prevalent types of masks that are out there. KN95s, these look like dust masks, but they have loops that go around the ears. They don't have an elastic bands that go around the back of the head. They go around, the loops go around the ears. You can buy these at Home Depot, Lowe's, or any hardware store, or Kroger's, or what have you out there. KN95s have not been approved by NIOSH. These respirators are usually manufactured in China, Mexico, or some other type of foreign country, and they haven't been tested. People do not know how effective KN95 respirators are. Some of them are okay, some of them are garbage. They've looked at some of these KN95s and found them to only be about 30% efficient, which means 70% of the stuff is getting right through them, which can cause people to be exposed to COVID and thinking that they're safe and they're not. So if you have KN95s, the dust mask with the loops that go around your ears in your facility, you need to find out who the manufacturer is, those KN95s, and go to the NIOSH website. There is a document on the NIOSH website where NIOSH has evaluated KN95s to determine how safe they really are and how efficient they really are. Like I said, some of these are garbage. They're no better than putting a paper napkin over your face. But then some of them are fairly good. So until you check out the manufacturer on those KN95s, you really don't know what you're wearing or what you're putting on your employees. Your employees may not be protected. So below a KN95, we have face coverings. These are the cloth face coverings you can buy at any hardware store or on Etsy, or people are making them at home out of fabric. And face coverings, they protect other people from you, okay? So when you sneeze or you cough, the cloth face covering knocks down all those droplets that are coming out of your mouth and nose and keeps them confined to you, okay? There is some evidence out there I saw in the last couple of weeks that say face coverings do offer some minimal protection to the user. But a majority of the time, cloth face coverings are used to protect other people from you. And then we have surgical masks too. These are the masks that you see the doctors and nurses wearing that are blue. They're paper masks that they also use for droplet protection. So just keep that in mind. N95s are what'll protect you from the COVID. KN95s are questionable. The cloth face coverings protect others from you and provide minimal protection to you. But just keep in mind that those are the kinds of face coverings that are out there. Because when someone says face covering, we don't know what they mean. They mean N95, they mean KN95. What are they talking about? Because the terminology all gets jumbled when people start talking about these things. So just to keep it straight, you know, this is what these things are called, and this is what these respiratory protection devices do. Now, if you're an employer and you require people to wear N95 face masks in the workplace, either N95 or KN95, if you require employees to wear those, then you have to have a respirator program. A written respirator program with fit testing, medical evaluations, and training on these things. And this is for KN95s and N95s. If you require people to wear cloth face masks or surgical masks, then you don't need a respirator program, because those two pieces of equipment are not considered respirators. But if you have people doing health screenings at the entrance to your facilities, or they're doing jobs that put them in contact with potentially COVID positive patients or residents, if you're requiring the N95 or KN95, you have to have a respirator program established with fit testing, medical evals, and training. Now, right now, that's what we're seeing a lot of, is employers don't have these things. When COVID hit last, I don't know, April, May, and it got really bad, employers were trying to get anything that they could out there to put on their employees to protect them. I mean, God bless them. They were scrambling to get anything on their employees they could to protect their employees. And what they didn't realize is once they did that, there's some OSHA regulations that kick in once they do that. And so we're seeing a lot of employers requiring these N95s and KN95s without these written respirator programs in place. So with fit testing, there used to be a shortage of fit testing supplies on the market. That's gotten better recently. But if you're calling around trying to find fit testing supplies or someone to try to do the fit testing on these N95s for you, it may be difficult to find anybody, okay? But what you need to do is you need to document your efforts. Document who you called when, what they told you, because when OSHA comes in, we're going to ask you, what have you done to fit test your employees? And if you can show us the people that you've called and the contacts that you've made to try to get fit testing done and weren't able to, we'll give you good faith for that. Okay, we won't ding you on that. But if we show up and we say, "Where's your fit testing?" and you say, "Well, we haven't done it and we haven't really tried to do it either," that's when citations start flying. So it's real important that if you have N95s that are mandatory use in the workplace, that you try to get the fit testing done and you try to get the medical evaluations done. Medical evaluations are important because when you if anyone's wore a dust mask out in the middle of the summer while doing yard work or whatever, those put a burden on your respiratory system. I mean, they wear you out after a while. It's hard to breathe through those things. They're hot. It's a real mess if you're out doing strenuous activity with even a dust mask on in the middle of summer. In the wintertime, we're going to face the issue of the same thing. Okay, so when you put a dust mask on someone and have them do a physical activity, puts a load on their respiratory system. If they have high blood pressure, COPD, asthma, heart disease, they may have an undiagnosed medical condition. That additional burden on their respiratory system could trigger a medical problem. And so that's why the medical evaluations are important. You need to ask questions. There's a questionnaire an employee will fill out to determine if they have any of these underlying medical conditions, because last thing you want to do is trigger someone's medical condition by putting them in a dust mask and have them out doing something. Either, they could, who knows what could happen with asthma or COPD or heart disease or what have you. So medical evaluations are real important. And then the training aspect too kicks in. So written program, fit testing, medical evaluations, and training are required anytime you require N95s or KN95s. You do not need a respirator program if it's only cloth face coverings or surgical masks. So you can contact me. I'll put the information in the chat, but my email address is jensen@dol.gov. That's jensen.todd@dol.gov. I also have a Google Voice phone number that I'll put in the chat too. It is 734-531-8015. That's 734-531-8015. And if you got any question on OSHA compliance, whether it's respiratory protection or electrical safety, confined spaces, air monitoring, whatever it may be, give me a call and I'll be able to walk you through what the requirements are and answer any questions that you got, okay? And like I said, if I don't have the answers, I'll get the answers from someone that does know. Let me go into I don't know if there's any questions in the chat right now. Doesn't look like it. If you do have any questions, just put those in the chat and I'll be happy to answer them. Other than that, I don't have too much more to talk about.
Well, it was great, Todd. We thank you for your presentation today. I'm not sure if Colleen is on the call. I don't believe so. Okay. With that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Todd, thank you again. If anyone has questions, they have your contact information. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day.
Okay, guys, I have the people's names in the drawing. And we have one. Who is it? All right, Lisa Keller. I don't know if you can see that. There it goes. You are our winner. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Wonderful. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. I again hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. And thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.